To cut off your tits and then call yourself a man, that is mentally ill. I just cannot tolerate bullshit, and that is bullshit.
Amen.
Go woke, go broke. People like us, or Caroline, or maybe Emily as well, were never spoken favourably about on Late and Live.
Yeah.
Because they had the biggest bunch of freaks on that show that you've ever seen in your life. In the audience, I've never, honestly, it's like some sort of nightmare in the audience. What Big Brother was originally is people went on, they showed every side of them. Now they show the storylines they want to show, and it's a shame, really.
In hindsight, I suppose it is the belly of the beast.
The intention of these people putting those flags in their bio is not because they want to stand for anything, not because they want to stand by anyone. It's because it makes them feel good.
But why do you have Israeli flag in your social media?
That's a good question. Fair point. We can criticise any religion, and apart from Islam.
Yeah, not strictly true.
I think that's just another excuse to hate on Jews. Really?
They can't do that without valid answers to these actually quite valid questions. Because Hamas aren't man enough to go man to man, fist to fist, skin on skin, and fight it out.
Take a ton.
I'd watch that.
No, I don't think I would. Somewhere in amongst there, I do have a heart.
Always knew you were woke.
Luckily, I decided not to.
Alright, what is a woman then?
Don't expect me to believe it.
So if I chopped off my penis and got one of these designer vaginas,
but for this to work, people need to buy into the bullshit.
Should a trans woman be able to go in a woman's toilet? No, I don't think so. You should go in the disabled toilet. Not because you're disabled.
How would it be, George?
No comment.
That's the truest bloody words you've spoken tonight. There's something completely wrong.
Who's behind it? Who's pulling the strings?
No one knew. You probably see the Jews.
No,
I'm joking. No, I'm going to be careful here. Why am I going to be careful?
If you want to take like a minute break or so for whatever reason, I can edit it out. So it's how it comes to it.
I'm one of those dirty smokers, but I'll manage until.
Oh, you smoke?
I don't know.
Yeah. Naughty boy.
Very old-fashioned.
Right, so intro. What do you want me to introduce you a certain way, like to just?
I've been called boss. I've been called boss.
Ex Big Brother 2024 contestant, or
yeah, that works. What am I? What am I officially? I don't know. Big Brother finalist 2024.
Go on.
Unbelievable. Is that what we're going for?
Let's do that.
Dan Wooten introduced me as anti-woke campaigner, and I was like, I'll take that.
Very more fitting. Hello, welcome to George Gilbert's Melting Pot, and today we have our first guest. I never thought this podcast was one to invite guests on as such, but I thought if there's going to be one man I invite as a guest onto this podcast, or the first one to pop my cherry, if you will, I think Mr. Nathan King of Big Brother 2024 is the perfect guest for that. He was the Big Brother bad boy in his day, and I said to him when I first invited him on, I said, I was him in my Big Brother and he was me in his Big Brother. We're both very similar in certain ways, but I also think we're going to find things that we vehemently disagree on.
That was a fair chance.
We'll definitely get onto that. But Nathan, how are you? Thanks for coming on.
I'm very well, thanks. How are you, George?
Very good. It's a pleasure to have you here.
It's
come down from Scotland.
I know. And do you know, the weather is the same in Scotland as here, so but I'm used to it now, so all good.
Oh, it's snowing yesterday where I live.
I know.
-1 degrees when I woke up.
I know, in November.
I know, it's horrible, but hey ho, this is Britain, we roll with a punch, stiff upper lip and all that. So, how did you find your Big Brother experience? Because obviously, as I said, politically, I think we're very similar.
Yeah.
And how it ended for me, it wasn't as I'd imagined. It wasn't as I wanted. It was quite upsetting the way my experience ended. Yeah. How did you find it? Was it difficult for you?
Genuinely, I loved I was in there 6 weeks, and I loved every second of it whilst in there, because I had no access to the outside world. I didn't know what was going on, and I loved, and I would be being disingenuous if I said I didn't love it. I did whilst I was in there. When I came out, it was a very different story, because I noticed the reaction online, which I kind of expected. But I think the thing is, and I assume you might have found similar, is that the editing that goes on, I didn't realise the extent of what it would be like. Do you think you were portrayed as a certain character, but in the house and what your housemates would have thought of you would have been different? Do you think that they skewed it in a certain way to portray you a certain way? I think definitely, because in the house, I was rarely nominated. There was one or two people who nominated me, but that was to be expected. I wasn't very kind about them, so I'll take that. But universally in the house, and I know since then, said housemates have decided to not be my biggest fan, but that's fine. But
Tell me about it, I'm not the same. That's just it though. People in reality, they're your friend to your face,
yes,
and they're the ones who say, oh, I hate backstabbers, I hate two-faced people, but it's those same people that backstab and...
Yeah, I have no doubt the majority of them, if tomorrow morning we had to both end up with 5 million followers, I would imagine they would be crawling back with their tails between their legs. And that's the kind of harsh reality, I suppose, of what people that are in the media are like. They are fame hungry, and I went on a reality TV show, so did you. So, like, of course, I liked the idea. I thought, like, it might be quite nice. But I wouldn't consider myself fame hungry and at all costs. I think, like, I've got a bit of some morals there, some values that I do hold that I will, okay, we can see what happens, but let's make sure that I stay true to myself. But some people just throw that out the window.
That was something that was on my mind when I was offered the place on Big Brother. I just thought to myself, it's a very dishonourable way of seeking fame. I'm a reality star. There's no talent in that. It's not like you've done the legwork and risen up the ladder and worked hard. It's just, you got the right personality, your face fits, come on the show. So that was something I was definitely... that was something on the forefront of my mind when I got offered it.
Can I just say, though, I absolutely have no talent whatsoever, so it's a bloody good job. I'm sitting there thinking, what talent do I actually have other than I've got a bit of a mouth? So in fairness, there is a market for it, and maybe it's right up my street.
It reminds me, before we went in, it's probably a similar thing for you, the Late and Live team wanted to ask us like, 1,000,001 questions to figure us out, get to know us more. And they delved a lot on what we can do that may come as a surprise, our hidden talents and stuff. You always get questions like that. What's the whole deal? Because they want me to say, I can juggle 5 balls at a time, or I can do a backward somersault right here, right now. I don't understand. But you say your talent is that you've got a big mouth. That is what reality shows need. And that's something I felt I was bringing to the table as well. But,
and a villain.
Yeah.
They need a villain.
Well, yeah, exactly. And I think it's a shame that I do think that the production team go into it thinking, he can be the villain of this year.
Absolutely.
Because then everything nice you may say, or all the times you look a bit more compassionate and all friendly and having a laugh, those don't make the final cut.
I think you're absolutely right, and I think the thing is as well, if you don't, I've seen a few people, maybe in my series, that they move in with an intention of the production team thought they were going to be a certain way, and if they didn't live up to that, then they just didn't show them. So they knew everything about me before I went in. They knew my politics. They knew what I thought on a whole host of issues. If I had gone into that house and just stayed quiet on everything, they just wouldn't have shown me.
Yeah.
And they would have shown that 1 second a day where I maybe mentioned Boris or mentioned Farage.
Exactly. Because that's the character you're playing.
Yes.
He's a political one. He's a reformer. Things like that.
Yeah.
Although on that topic, are you a reformer?
I'm a very proud conservative. And I know, George, but I've always been a very proud conservative, and I do think that...
I don't think you have, though. In the house, you said how much you love Farage.
I said how much I do. I still do love Farage.
So why don't you follow his party that he leads?
That's a good question. Fair point. However, I think Farage is has had the biggest influence on British politics in the last 30 years, without a doubt. However, I think he will serve a really good purpose, which is to shake up the other parties and make them change their ways, become harder on immigration, become less loose on welfare, and I think they will change their ways, but I do not think Reform are a party of government, unfortunately. And I may change my mind on that at some point, so I will caveat, but at the moment I don't think that.
Alright, but you genuinely think the Conservatives can win an election?
Yes.
Still?
Categorically, absolutely.
On what grounds? Why do you think that?
Because
in the polls they're projected to win just 45 seats.
Yes.
And that's nowhere near enough, because I think Reform are about just over 400 seats. So Kemi Badenoch, I don't mind the woman, but her initial stance on the ECHR, they say that the following election, the next election will be the immigration election, because that's the biggest issue on everyone's mind.
Absolutely.
Rightly so. And Kemi's initial stance on immigration is to stay in the ECHR. I believe she's changed her tune now.
Yeah.
So that indicates she's flip-flopping and she's indecisive. So I don't really like her for that. It's not what a leader does. You stick to your guns. But also, if you wanted to remain in the ECHR to begin with, then you clearly don't want to sort out our illegal immigration problem. So how can you vouch for a party that?
I think that's a fair point. However, I will say that all leaders flip-flop. Farage flip-flop. Farage a few months ago didn't know what a woman was. Couldn't even define a woman without squirming out of his chair. So I think that all leaders. I am glad that I am so involved and interested in politics. However, I can understand how people are so disillusioned by politics at the moment because no one knows what they stand for, and if they do, they don't say it. So if I was being entirely honest, I think across the board, I think that there are very few politicians with a backbone and a spine that actually know what they stand for and will stand on business. Apart from, I will count out of the 650 MPs, the one that stands out beyond anyone is Rupert Lowe. And I think if Rupert Lowe were to lead the Conservatives into the next election, which I think is a possibility, I think the Conservatives would win the next election.
I don't think Rupert Lowe would do that because he is an honourable man and he knows that would just split the right vote. People are saying we need to unite the right. If someone like him is going against Farage, they are pretty much in agreement on all the major issues.
Yeah.
So that would be detrimental to the country because it would probably cost the right power. And I think it may open up someone like the Green Party with Zach Polansky, your Bezzy mate, to take the reins because he's getting all the extreme voters. And I think this is it with our generation. Certainly with Gen Z.
The fruitcakes is what he's getting. The fruitcakes, the lunatics.
Yeah, we go with that. But in our generation, more than any other generation prior to ours, I think we're just a generation of extremities. So if you're on the right, then possibly Advance UK is looking attractive. Reform, I don't think they're extremists by any means, but Reform or Labour and Conservative, they're just the uni party. So then you'd go to Greens if you're on the left. But I talk of the uni party, I don't believe the political divide today is left versus right. I think it's now populist versus globalist because the Conservatives and Labour are two cheeks of the same arse. I hate to break it to you, but it's true. And that's why you're getting no different, whether it's 14 years of Conservative rule or now Labour, both of them are fucking a country up. That's the bottom line. So why should I trust the Conservatives, or Labour for that matter, with my loyalty? They do not deserve my vote, Nathan. Don't be such a fool and vote for them.
I disagree because why would you trust the Conservatives?
Yeah.
Because our greatest peacetime Prime Minister of all time, Margaret Thatcher, and that's not up for debate. Margaret Thatcher, from 1979 to 1990, she changed this country for the better in every possible way.
Yep.
And then you had John Major, and then you had 1997 Blair came in, Tories into the wilderness, and you would think, right, no way back. But they found a way back. They found a way, they found what they stood for, and they came back to proper Conservative values. And I think that's what it comes down to for me at the moment, is that are Reform just saying the right things? That's my worry. If Reform can convince me that they're not just saying the right things and they bloody well mean them, they'll get my vote, without a doubt. But I don't trust that that's what's happening at the moment. Whereas I believe that the Conservatives are, they're going through a bit of a bad patch. I think Kemi, in fairness to her, I think she's grown into the role. I think she really is becoming a proper leader of the opposition. And I think she's actually starting to do quite well. And she's maybe not saying the right things all the time, but she's saying what she believes. And that will get my vote. And that's what I want from Reform.
Yeah, but with Reform, I believe politics is one in the centre, and they can't be too polarising, otherwise they will lose the election. They don't need to be polarising because they are doing so well in the polls.
Do you believe they'll do
Don't
it?
rock the boat.
Do you genuinely believe that Reform, if they were to win the election in 2029, do you genuinely believe they would deport the illegal migrants that needed deported? Do you genuinely think they'd follow through with what they're promising?
Yes, I do, but I grant you, I think it needs a better strategy in place because that's a bloody big mission.
Yeah.
But Trump's done it.
And
exactly. We all know Farage and Trump go hand in hand, so I think Farage will definitely take inspiration from that. And if he doesn't do it, then the country will change forever. So I think Farage will be the most consequential Prime Minister this side of the century. Turn of the century.
I'm not.
And I'd love to see it.
Do not think I'm anti-Farage. I campaigned, I don't know if I've ever said this or anything before, but when I was 15, I first got into politics. And I first really got engaged by politics. And it was Farage. It was UKIP at the time. It was when UKIP won about 4 million votes in the 2016 election. I was a 15-year-old, 16-year-old campaigning with UKIP. So Farage has always been someone I've looked up to in politics. him and more importantly Thatcher was my kind of political idol.
Yeah.
But so I do like to see Farage doing well, but there's something deep within me where I think, does he mean it or is he just saying it?
Yeah.
And that worries me.
I think if you truly loved what Farage stood for, I don't think you'd be wanting to support the Conservatives in any way, because they have blown any chance of my gaining my vote. They've messed the country up. They put us into trillions of debt. The Boris wave of migrants came over, putting a strain on our infrastructure, on our NHS, on our education system, on our roads. The traffic coming here today was mental. There is too many people in the country. We are full up.
You're right.
And that is down to the Conservatives. If they were truly Conservative, they wouldn't have done any of what I've just named. A true Conservative doesn't put the country into debt, doesn't flood the nation with people from all corners of the world that don't want to assimilate with British culture. That's not what a Conservative person does. So I respect your right to be a Conservative, but I think you're flogging a dead horse, quite frankly, mate.
I think people say that. And I've had that quite a lot, that people say that I am flogging a dead horse with the Conservatives, but there is something deep within me that tells me that it ain't over yet.
Okay, well, that makes one of us. So on the topic of politics, then, what is the political issue that runs through your veins the most? What's the biggest gripe you have with our political, the game of politics today? What fires you up?
What fires me up? I love this country. Genuinely, I love. And I'm Scottish, and just before any of the Scottish nationalists come for me like that, like they always do, I am Scottish, and I am bloody well proud to be Scottish.
Good.
But I am also British, and I love being British, and I'm proud to be British.
British first or Scottish first?
Very good question. British first.
Good man.
Sorry.
So you're
sorry, nationalists. Don't shout at me.
So you are a unionist.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well and truly.
Good. Yeah.
And I love this country. I love what this country is. I love what this country has always been, and I love what it stands for. I love what we represent, and it saddens me watching what it's become. It saddens me walking down certain areas in this country now. It saddens me walking down Buchanan Street in Glasgow, which I think the thing is, how I always look at it is, and maybe you will look at it differently because you are a southerner. But as Northerners, as Scots in particular, we are so friendly. You could walk through Glasgow and if something happened to you, someone would be straight over helping you out. That's just how we work. Whereas in London, no one's looking past the end of their nose. And that's just a north versus south thing. That's not the same in Scotland anymore. We're losing it.
Is that a north and south thing though?
Because
I think it's because London is so multicultural that it's just become a melting pot, if you pardon the pun, of different cultures and languages and ethnicities, if you want to go there. We share nothing in common. We are in London. London is a city of strangers. I mean, I'd say the UK is a nation of strangers now.
Yeah.
If you've got I think of the analogy, supposing you've got a Hindu woman, a Christian woman, a Jewish woman, and a Muslim woman.
Is this like three people walk into a bar type trouble?
Yeah.
I'm waiting for it. I'm thinking, oh God,
my racist
going to get cancelled now.
My racist godfather told me this one. No, if you've got four women, all of different religions at a bus stop, they probably won't talk to each other because they've got nothing in common.
Yeah.
In fact, they probably don't even talk the same language. And so I don't think it's a northern-southern thing. Okay. And if you're saying that friendly spirit in Glasgow of yesteryear is dying out, it's probably because of mass migration.
Oh, no, it is. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, I totally agree. That's what that is. When I walk through Glasgow now, it's not the same place. Yeah. There's no doubt about it. And it is due to the multiculturalism that they like to call it. I agree. And I've never considered that maybe that's why the Southerners, although when I think about it, no, I don't know, maybe.
Be careful what you say.
I'll let you away with that. with it. But, like... It's so disheartening to see.
So how do we fix it?
We get rid of them.
Mass deportations?
Mass deportations, absolutely. Okay. I was swithering, I have been for a while on mass deportations, if it was about, absolutely. It's the only way, is we have got to firstly remove people who have no right to be here. Yeah. Illegal, and everyone's no one can be illegal. Well, you can, and they are. Correct. So remove them first and foremost. And then I think the bigger problem, and it's a very difficult one, but the bigger problem is actually legal migration. Legal migration is out of control. I think in 1997, net migration, when Blair first took charge, net migration was roughly about 40,000 a year. It's now millions. That's out of control. We're an island. We just can't have it.
We're full up.
Yeah, we are.
It's true, yeah. But why do you think who do you think is behind the flood of immigration that is? What's triggered it? Why now, since the Blair years? Why is it just continues to grow bigger and bigger? These numbers?
Islam, I think. Bluntly, I think Islam. I think Islam is quite simply the greatest threat to the West. Yeah. I genuinely believe that. I genuinely believe our greatest threat, our greatest danger in this country is Islam. It is not it is not a religion that likes to go quietly. And this Islamophobic definition that they want to bring in to protect it, so we can't criticise. We can criticise any religion, and apart from Islam.
Yeah, not strictly true. For instance, going back to Big Brother, I was done for anti-Semitic comments.
Oh, right.
Which
Tell me more.
I wouldn't actually class as anti-Semitism. Do you want to know what I was booted out for?
I do.
Yeah,
Go on, tell me.
Because I know you're very big on Israel and everything.
I am.
And so am I. My heart goes out to the Jewish community. I think they integrate better than many other communities. I think
than any other community, I would say. But yeah.
Debatable, I think. Yeah, debatable. We'll leave it there. I only say that because you do get you get places where
Orthodox.
Yeah.
No, I get that.
So they don't, but they do better than most.
It's a fair.
Yeah.
Yep.
But they're skilled people. They build things. They're good with money. And I see what's happening in London today, where it's like crystal knocked out there, where Jewish businesses and kosher meat butchers, they're getting vandalised because of the Israel-Palestine conflict. And that's wrong. Certainly in this country.
Yeah.
We are one of the what this country has been built on since, I'd say, the early 20th century is tolerance and, loving thy neighbour regardless of their political stance or whatever. So I think it's very, very upsetting, and my heart certainly goes out to the Jewish community. But a part of me does think this is what I was done for. Got the Gestapo on me. I said that I do understand why people are sceptical of some kind of Jewish world order, which I don't agree with because I don't have enough evidence for. Okay. Are you Jewish, by the way?
No, I'm not Jewish.
Okay.
No.
I do see why people are sceptical because I constantly hear the traditional anti-Semitic trope of the Jews run the banks and the media.
Don't you think that's one of them?
Of what?
One of the anti-Semitic tropes, the conspiracy.
Yeah, but is there any truth to it? Because in what sense? A lot of people say the top bods at Hollywood are all Zionist Jews.
Okay.
I don't believe this because I don't have enough evidence. But if that is true, and the sheer fact that anti-Semitism has existed for millennia now, and some of the finest minds in human history, this is the line that got me down.
Is this right? This is pretty well.
Some of the finest minds in human history, from Cicero to Shakespeare, Voltaire to Henry Ford, Roald Dahl, I could go on, all had anti-Semitic remarks in their writings. Now, they're some of the most intellectual people in history. Can they all be wrong? They all lived in different time frames. Cicero in the Roman Empire to Roald Dahl in the 60s. Is there some truth to it? And that's not a rhetorical question that I'm making a point. I was genuinely curious because I want to debunk these anti-Semitic theories. I want to root out anti-Semitism in this country because it is rife right now.
Absolutely.
But I can't do that without valid answers to these actually quite valid questions. So I think you say Islam...
So you posed that as a question? Is that what you're saying? You posed that as a question?
And because I didn't get balanced counter-arguments from my housemates...
You had a bunch of dummies in there. Yeah. You're on Big Brother, George.
Yeah,
I'm not expecting some sort of intellectual debate with these people.
Well, it's true. Because
not all of them.
I didn't...
most of them.
I think I'd say all of them.
Yeah, all of them.
Maybe not Caroline. We like Caroline.
No, we do. Yeah, I like Caroline.
No, but jokes aside, because there was no balanced counter-argument, it looked like I was preaching. And to be honest, I concede, I do understand that. Once I'm going and I'm on a roll, like there's no stopping me. And it looked like I was trying to hammer home some anti-Semitic point. When truly, I like every single Jewish person I've ever met. They've been salt of the earth people who have, they represent the best of Britain.
I agree.
But I don't want them to be hated against because of the Israel-Palestine conflict, most notably. So I want to debunk these theories, and I can't do that when people are asking such questions that actually there is...
Can I say
an element of truth?
Just as you're saying about the Israel-Palestine, you're saying that most notably, I think that's just another excuse to hate on Jews. Really, genuinely, I think these people, and these anti-Semites, these people who will blame Jews for everything and anything, they will find another reason. Israel-Palestine, Israel-Gaza. That is just what they've latched onto at the moment to bash Jews and bash Israel with.
Anti-Semitism has risen since 2022 when the October 7th happened.
Yes.
And so I do think it's largely down to that conflict that it's going through the roof right now, anti-Semitism. And discrimination against Jews.
I just can't. It shows then how people are not educated on what they're talking about. They don't know what they're talking about, because to link every single Jew with Israel is nonsense. Israel is the only Jewish state, absolutely, and it should be. It serves an unbelievable purpose as a safe haven for Jews when things like this are happening. When there's a guy in America killed while the guy was shouting "Free Palestine," whatever else. It is now more than ever. It's clear why Israel is there to protect Jews, and I think the thing is that these people are so. How I look at it is, and I'm going to try and explain it as succinctly as I can, that Scotland and England, if Scottish terrorists invaded England and killed 1,200 people, kidnapped many more, took them back to Scotland. And your government in England was separate. Let's say the Scottish Nationalists have got their way and they've got the bloody independence. Never, indeed. But if your government didn't do everything and anything in their power to get every single person responsible, wouldn't you be pissed off? Because I bloody would.
Yeah.
So this is the thing. People say that, it's disproportionate. How is it disproportionate? What's proportionate then? What's the proportionate response to 1,200 people being killed, to many more being kidnapped and taken hostage? What is the proportionate response? Because if I had a family member there, I don't think there'd be anything that would be proportionate. I would want everything done.
So you'd want all Palestinians killed?
No, I want everyone responsible killed. I want everyone responsible.
Okay, so if you kill... what if there's someone who's a part of Hamas, their brother who isn't a part of Hamas? Should that brother be killed, for instance?
The thing is, it is probably such a rare example, because the thing is, these... I'm going to be careful here. And why am I going to be careful? They are born into this. And they are born into this mindset, this mentality of hating Jews. And it does come back to, and I know it's not all of Islam and it's not all Muslims, but there is a certain part there that they are born into hating Jews, and they are born into celebrating the killing of Jews.
So you endorse collective punishment for these people?
Because
that's a very anti-Christian stance. If you believe in all of this nation or religion should be punished because a select few have...
It's not about all of the nation being punished, because there are innocent Palestinians there. There was innocent Palestinians, and that's the thing. But Hamas were hiding behind these innocent Palestinians. So what do you do then? Do you let Hamas win? Do you just leave them to it and just say, oh, well, they've got a really good shield there, so we'll just leave them to it? Or do you say, well, we're going to have some, unfortunately, and I know I sound heartless saying this, but I think I'm just being honest, that it's collateral damage.
Yeah.
We have been to so much... People forget. Well, they maybe don't forget. Maybe we weren't alive for it. Neither was I. But World War II, bombing of innocent Germans. Not all Germans were Nazis. Not all Germans. But we did bomb... Britain did bomb Germany. We killed innocent Germans. We killed German children, women and men who had nothing to do with Nazis or Nazi occupation or whatever else. But we still killed them. We still bombed them.
And for the record, though, what not many people realise, many Brits did not want to go to war with the Nazis. There are actually campaigns led by people like Oswald Mosley to not go to war with the Nazis. But we went ahead anyway, and it's seen as something that we did that was amazing and great and the best of Britain. But actually, many innocent people died, like you said, and that's wrong. It's always the working class that has to pay for the bourgeoisie's troubles. Not to be Marxist about it, but it's true. It's always the working class that suffer. That's what I see.
I get that.
Whether it's innocent Palestinians because Hamas aren't man enough to go man to man, fist to fist, skin on skin, and fight it out.
Taking a ton.
I'd watch that. No,
I don't think I
join in. So because Hamas aren't man enough to go to war, it's the innocent people, the working class people, that are dying, and that's how it's always been in history, and it's wrong. But I actually said it in the house. It wasn't shown on air because I suppose it would win me some support with certain people. But I said, I think it might have been Faye Shola from my series, obviously.
Oh, she was very... Is that the woke one?
The
which one? That if you sneeze too loudly, I feel like she'd have got offended.
Oh, yeah, there's some...
Yes, there's a few of them.
Yeah, a few too many of them, yeah. Yeah, I think it was a conversation with her where I said, I'm all for free Palestine, but finish the sentence. Free Palestine from Israel or from Hamas? If it's from Hamas, yeah, I'm well behind that. I think Hamas, they're evil. They want to kill. It's in their manifesto that they want to kill all Israelis.
That's right.
That's not right. So we need to stamp Hamas out. We need to get rid of them.
Yeah.
And if the IDF they need to get rid of them by any means they see fit.
Yeah, and I agree.
So for that matter, because the IDF are the only thing keeping innocent Israelis from death, as a result of Hamas, I support the IDF's actions and whatever they deem necessary to keep their people safe. After all, the first duty of government is to keep the population safe.
Exactly.
So I'm well behind the Israelis for that matter, but as I say, I mean, it's not really my gripe, this war. I don't really like any of them, to be honest. I think it's just causing uproar in this country. We've got problems of our own.
But they like to jump onto the thing is, it's causing up. I will say this: it's causing uproar in this country. That's because of the far left lunatics, far left fruitcakes who have joined hand in hand with the Muslim Brigade, and they are marching with their Palestinian flags and the trans flags or the rainbow flags on the other hand. It is the most unholy alliance known to man, and they will be booted to kingdom come if they ever, in the unfortunate event that they ever reach power, with this Jeremy Corbyn / Zara Sultana alliance, whatever else.
Party.
Well, they've fallen out anyway, but that's another story. But it is the most unholy alliance, and that those daft lefties with the trans flags and rainbow flags will be booted out before they know it.
Yeah.
So that's why it's not ruling this country, because they just like a cause to cling to make themselves feel good.
Well, in answer to the question that got booted me off, so
back to that.
So you think that the reason why these intellectual people throughout history, you think the reason why all of them shared anti-Semitic views is because they just wanted a group to blame for society's troubles of their day?
I think. Well, I don't agree. I think you were posing the question, but I think so. Yeah. I think historically, I think Jews have always been, and I'm very wary, because when people say nowadays, "Oh, I'm oppressed." Everyone thinks they're oppressed nowadays to make themselves feel better, and it's just ridiculous. Jews are the one group of people who I genuinely believe throughout history have been continuously oppressed and continuously put down upon. Through no fault of their own, other than historically, they have contributed, they integrate, they contribute to our society, and for one reason or another, they have found themselves at the butt of every bad thing that's ever happened.
Yeah, I mean, I, for starters, I don't think that warrants. Well, why do you have Israeli flag in your social medias? Because surely you're Britain first, no?
I am.
So why not have the? I don't know.
I've got it. I've got the Union Jack, I've got the Sultan, and I've got the Israeli flag.
But why the Israeli flag?
The Israeli flag, for me, stands for standing with the Jewish community, because so few people in this country with any sort of voice, and I'm not a massive voice in this country, I'm a pretty small voice in this country, but very few people with any sort of platform stand up for the Jewish community in our country.
Fair enough.
And I have received so many messages from people through like small, I don't do much, I just put out an odd video just standing with the Jewish community, and it means so much to those people, and I just thought no, and I was sick of the questions, people saying, because as if it was something to be ashamed of. You stand by Israel's actions? Yes, I do. Yeah. So I just thought, you know what, fire it in the bio, and then that just saves anybody wondering.
No, good for you. I think it's always important to stand up for what you believe in, regardless of what other people think. I mean, bollocks to them. Yeah. If you believe something, then fly that flag. But I personally, I just think Britain is the only thing I care about.
I get that. I agree.
So, but each his own. No,
I understand.
So do you have a problem when people put maybe the rainbow flag, or maybe the Palestinian flag, or maybe the Ukraine flag in there? What do you think of that? Do you think they're free will to do so, or? So I've got a feeling you won't like that. And do you know what? I'm with you, but there's a bit of a hypocrisy there.
Yes, no, I know. I think how I look at it though is it's the intention. And it all comes back to intention with anything. And I think that the intention of these people, excuse me, the intention of these people putting those flags in the bio is not because they want to stand for anything, not because they want to stand by anyone. It's because it makes them feel good. Yeah. That's all it's about. The rainbow flag, the trans mentally ill brigade, their flag, that is just all about their own narcissism.
Yeah.
I genuinely, and I know people might not believe it, I do, somewhere in amongst there, I do have a heart. And I do care about people. Maybe I'm selective with the people I care about. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I do genuinely do things at times because I care about standing for something that I believe in.
Yeah.
I don't believe these people are genuine. These people are just doing it because it's a cause to piggyback on. It makes themselves feel good. Influencers is another great example. They post things that they know nothing about, but they know that it's popular amongst the target audience that they'll try and get a brand deal out of. That infuriates me. Post what you really think.
Yeah.
We need to get away from that of having influencers shamed and scared to post what they really think, because they might not get a bloody brand deal. It's madness.
Well said, that man. I like it. You're clearly very passionate about politics, so is that the route Mr. King takes from here on in?
Maybe. I think so. Potentially.
Yeah. So you're doing TikTok at the moment, yeah. So why is that? Do you think in obviously 2029, 4 years is a long time? Do you think you'll be standing for a seat in Parliament, or are you happy with the content creation for now? Or
I think 2029. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think so.
Conservative?
I don't know. I knew you were going to ask me that. Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
How are they doing in Scotland these days?
Well, it's Scotland. I don't know how much you know about the Scottish political landscape, but it's bloody. I lived coincidentally in the only Tory area for years. For about 20 years. David Mundell's been my MP, Southwest Scotland.
Yeah.
But now there was a lot more of us. We got a lot more of us, and we were on a bit of an up. And now we're back down.
Sorry, was that a Nazi salute there?
No, no Elon Musk here. That was simply my big hands just doing the thing. But in Scotland, it was always either Conservatives or SNP lunatics. And now
Labour have fallen on their arse.
Yes, Labour had a real resurgence in Scotland, and I thought, excellent, that's great news. I'm not a fan of Labour, but anyone but the SNP. That's how most us Unionist Scots. That's how we think. Anyone but the SNP, because they are just mental and would rip us out of the UK and join the EU because that's a great idea, John Swinney. You fucking idiot. So now, unfortunately, John Swinney, because he knows that he can't put his SNP record, he can't take account for it, and can't run an election on it next year. He's made next year's Holyrood elections about independence, obviously, because it brings out all the saltire waving nationalists.
Yeah.
And the problem we have is, if you vote the Nationalists will all vote SNP, and that's fine. The Unionists will split the vote now amongst Labour, Conservatives, and now Reform.
Yeah. So
it's a disaster for Scotland, actually. And that was a long answer to that question, but it is a real disaster, and it's a real concern of mine. I don't know what we do.
Yeah, it's a sorry state of affairs. I've always found it quite interesting how it seems like Northern Ireland, Wales, and Scotland have all they tend to be fairly liberal in their politics, as in their governments are always very left wing seeming. In the short space of time that I've interacted with any politics up in Scotland or Wales or whatever, they don't tend to be very right-leaning. Obviously, Wales voted for Brexit.
Yes.
But Scotland
didn't.
Yeah. Were you a Brexiteer?
I was for Brexit. Yeah.
Why?
Why? I believed what Farage and Boris Johnson said. I do believe it. I do believe that we shouldn't be ruled by some unelected officials sat in Brussels. I don't believe that's the right thing.
That's my stance, yeah.
Well,
it's stupid, isn't it?
It is.
We're big and ugly enough to govern ourselves, aren't
we?
Exactly. We are Great Britain. We don't need a load of bureaucrats telling us what we can and can't do.
Von der Leyen and a guy.
I know, and Angela Merkel, she's gone now, but she opened the floodgates to Europe, and now look at us. It's high crime. Economically, Europe's falling on its arse. Europe is a globalist experiment, in my opinion.
Okay.
And that's down to, that they're trying to make us culturally indistinguishable from each other. Our populations don't represent what historically these nations stood for. I think Europe is certainly taking a turn for the worst in the last couple of decades. And
absolutely. There's no doubt. Yeah.
The EU has a big... we've got questions that need to be answered. Even the mere fact that the EU was set up as a trade union, and then you hear stories where they want to set up a EU army and things like that. And now we're all meant to go and fund Ukraine. I don't know your stance on Ukraine, Russia, but I think, again, I'm Britain first. We've got enough problems here. Why should I have to pay for Volodymyr Zelensky, who's literally a comedian, a clown, why should I have to fork out and go through a cost of living crisis just to protect some Ukrainians? I feel for them. I sympathise with them. I sympathise with the Russians that are being drafted into the army without having a say. You know, they're bullied into it. So there's upsetting things happening on both sides of the story. But I don't want to pay for it because there's veterans sleeping on the streets out there.
Yeah.
Why should Ukrainians come first? What do you think about Ukraine, Russia?
It's a fair call, I really get what you're saying. I am very sceptical of the Russians, pesky Russians. Was it Fawlty Towers? Was it Basil Fawlty called them the pesky Russians? I understand, and I do agree with you on when you're saying about veterans and Britain first.
Yeah.
I think you're right. However, I don't really look at it from a Ukrainian angle. I look at it from a Russian angle, and I think we are Britain. What would Thatcher? I think that's the question of the day. Yeah. What would Thatcher have done? And would Thatcher have allowed some madman in the Kremlin to do what he wanted? No.
Is he? Why do you think he's a madman?
Oh, well, he's very much... I think he's a madman.
I think the powers that be want us to think he's a madman, but I want to make my own mind up.
I went through that phase. I've been through that phase, and I thought, maybe he's not. And my dad mentioned something about that as well, and I thought, And then I looked, and I thought, no, do you know what? I'll give him one thing. He's pro-Russian, which is a good thing. Like, it's his country, and he's very pro-Russian, and good on him. However, we cannot stand for someone like him, and we cannot allow him to just do what he wants, because I think, is it the Rudyard Kipling poem that eventually they'll come for us? So I don't know if I made that up.
I know a couple of Kipling's.
I feel like it is. But eventually they'll come for us, and I think you've got to, you can't allow him to do what he wants.
Yeah, I don't think it's our problem, to be honest.
I get that. That's the annoying thing. I do get that.
Yeah. No, fair enough. Again, each his own.
Yeah, no, but it's annoying because I do get that stance as well, and it's the same in America at the moment. They're saying that a lot of the MAGA movement are very much take us out of these foreign wars. We don't want anything to do with it. Put American people first. So I do get it, but then there's just this other part of me that's like, well, we just can't allow these people. Maybe it's the empire part of me inside me that's just colonising everyone. That's just a bit in me that's like, no, we can't allow them.
Bring that back.
We'll sort that out. We'll do that.
Bring back the empire.
Yes, absolutely. Here to that.
God, yeah. Well, people would think I'm evil for saying something like that, but
no.
We gave our colonies a far better. We upgraded their countries to extreme heights compared to what they were prior to our imperial invasion. So it's and
I know we're not making a very good fist of it at the moment, but we did used to run it. Well, maybe not me personally, but we did used to run things bloody well.
Yeah.
When we did have control of these countries and colonies, and I know, like, at the moment you were like, yeah, right, because with Keir Starmer in charge, it's not very good. But at one point, we actually did. We made a pretty good fist of it.
Transport, trade, democracy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
English language.
Yeah,
not that I speak much of it, but yeah.
I'm with you on that one. Bring it back. So, what is? I hear you talking of imperialism. I hear you used to work for Prince Charles, now King Charles.
I did.
How did you get that job? So you were his butler?
I was, up at Dumfries House, up in Scotland.
Wow.
I was 15, 16. I was weekends just working in the cafe on the estate.
Wow.
And then I decided I was going to go to uni and study politics, whatever. I think it was politics, actually.
Always knew you were woke.
And luckily, I decided not to. Luckily, I approached the house and I said, I was 16, 17 at the time. Yeah. And they said, right, come up for us. I worked in the house for a few weeks and stuff, and then the guy that actually butlered for it was off. I did it, and that was it. That was que sera after that. I carried on doing it, and I loved it. I'm a massive royalist. I don't know about you.
No, I am. I'm pro royal family, but I do think King Charles is very weak, and I'd actually rather see. I think William will do a good job, but why are they hammering home this climate change agenda? I don't want to hear it.
Yes. I've seen,
and he's even little things like he is the head of the Catholic Church, the Protestant Church. I beg your pardon.
Yeah.
And
very much not the Catholic Church.
Yeah. But I don't feel like he represents Christianity anymore. I think if anything, he pledges allegiance more to Islam.
Yeah.
Allowing the fast to be broken during Eid in Windsor Castle. I don't really have a problem with that as such, but I just think he does more for other religions than the religion he leads. It doesn't make sense. I don't really know.
I think you're making a fair point, because I think that The late Queen would never have done such a thing.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about when he was talking about Islam and whatever. And it is this. I see where they're coming from. That's this multiculturalism, brilliant.
Yeah.
But no, the Queen didn't celebrate any sort of multiculturalism.
Yeah.
She stood by what she stood by, and that's more to be respected.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, that is what this country. That's what built this country.
Yeah, we had a Protestant Christian country, and we should be proud of that fact.
Exactly.
I'm proud of that fact.
Yeah, as am I. Even little things like when he first became king, one of the first things he did, I don't know how soon it was, but I remember he changed his title from leader of the faith to leader of faiths. Thus saying, oh, it's all right, you don't have to assimilate with what we do in Britain or who we are religiously. You can be what you want. And I think that chips away at our national identity. That's something I agree with you. That's close to me. I think if we restore national identity, a lot of the problems in this country will be sorted out. Mm-hmm. So, it didn't really sit right with me, but hey-ho, I'd give him the benefit of the doubt, and I wouldn't say he's done much to lay his mark on the monarch title.
No, I think he was a wonderful prince. I think he was a brilliant, and I think he did so much through the Prince's Foundation, which is actually the Priest's House.
Yeah, Prince's Trust.
Prince's Trust, Prince's Trust, Prince's Foundation. They did some amazing work, and I will give him that he really did. And some of it was the climate nonsense, which is
I must mention, because he's been battling cancer, hasn't he?
Yes.
So he's probably had a tough time. So hats off to him there. I wouldn't want to. You shouldn't work too hard. Yeah, it's not nice. But just my thoughts. I'm a royalist, though. I'm with you on that. Yeah. Yes. I just wish they were a bit stronger. Bring back Henry VIII or something.
I was expecting next topic, Prince Andrew.
Yeah.
No. Sorry, Andrew Mountbatten.
Get it right.
Sorry.
Oh, what do you think about him?
Oh no.
Do you think he's guilty? Or do you want to?
Oh, he's guilty as charged. Surely. Surely he's guilty.
In this country, we do innocent till proven guilty.
I agree. I know. I'm very much. But come on. Yeah.
It looks. Allegedly. I don't think he's squeaky clean.
Do I need to chuck in a few allegedly so I don't get sued?
Allegedly,
apparently.
Don't die in a car crash. Touchy. Moving on.
He's done it now.
Right, moving on. Back to, we didn't really spend too long on Big Brother.
No, we didn't.
Would you do reality again? So you enjoyed your time on Big Brother?
Yeah.
Is that it on the reality front, or would you do something if it came about? I don't know.
Potentially.
First dates, or I'm a Celebrity, get me out of here.
Definitely not first dates. Everyone would love I'm a Celebrity. It's like
it'd be good.
The one. Would I do it again? I think probably.
So you don't regret it?
No, I don't regret it. I don't regret it. Do you know? I think the thing is, I appreciate what they did for me. They have given me a platform, however small. They've given me a platform to go on now and do what I want. Yeah. And I have taken that and I have ran with it, and I've taken it for exactly what it was, which it was just they gave me a platform. And I think the thing is that I was very quickly aware that I owe them nothing. Is how I look at it, because they owed me nothing. When I went on there, I think a lot of people on my series, they got a bit stuck up on the fact that they came out and the edit wasn't too kind. They'd edited it to look like this and whatever, and I've looked at that myself. But how I quickly realised was that they're there to make a TV show. They're there to get viewers, and they owe me nothing personally. So how I've kind of looked at it as well, I owe them nothing also. I appreciate what they did for me. Thank you so much. I will be forever grateful for the experience that I had and the platform that I was then given. Yeah. But
I see that. Their job is to make good telly.
Yeah.
And yes, we may get a bad edit, but that's what you're putting yourself in for. In hindsight, I suppose it is the belly of the beast.
Yeah.
I was. Have I mentioned I was removed
from
the house?
I didn't know that, George.
Not. Should I tell you the comment? So because it is the belly of the beast, and people say ITV has gone so woke. Do you think? Do you think it? Do you think this series? I don't know how much of my series you saw, but do you think it's more woke than yours?
Absolutely.
I think it's getting worse by the year.
Absolutely, without a doubt. It's coincidentally, I don't know if you've heard, but Leighton Live has now been asked for next year.
Yeah, what a shame.
I had a bit of a smirk on that. I can't even lie. It was what's that Jimmy Clarkson when he looks into the camera and he does that face? That's how I felt about it. I was very happy.
Jeremy Clarkson. Oh no. Anyway,
exactly. No. Go woke, go broke, as I think, and they got what they deserved on that one, because they had nothing but people like us, or Caroline, or maybe Emily as well, were never spoken favourably about on Leighton Live, because they had the biggest bunch of freaks on that show that you've ever seen in your life. In the audience, I've never honestly, it's like some sort of nightmare on in the audience, and then the panelists, like you always had. You did that. You did this. You did that, and then you got into trouble, didn't you?
Oh, I got a warning.
You got a warning for that.
I know.
For just imitating someone's behaviour.
The people, the panel that they had on Late and Live were very nasty to me. And if I'd have said what they said about me to other housemates, if I'd have said that to other housemates, I would have been warned. So when you got people like David Potts and Danny Beard, these drag queens and all the rest of it, I don't know who half of them are because I don't watch trash. But
that's just Danny Beard.
Yeah, well, it's
just the trash. Danny Beard. Danny Beard, he was an interest.
Yeah, but I just think it's hypocrisy how they preach about all this be kind malarkey.
They don't.
But the moment you give so much of a hint as pledging allegiance to someone like Farage or having a conservative ideology, they come down on you like a ton of bricks. Yeah. It's
be kind until it suits only when it suits their agenda.
I know.
And I've noticed that they are. Danny Beard, he was, he made a few comments about me when I was on Big Brother, and then he went on the celebrity version, and I was very keen for him not to win, which he didn't, because I just didn't really particularly like him. I just found it quite amusing, really. I think the thing is, sometimes with me, people read into me more than is necessary. Yeah. They think I'm doing something for a certain reason, and I'm just doing it because I find it funny.
Yeah, that's a bit like me. I wanted to make a good telly. I'm not going to be in there and just swim with the tide, because it's boring.
Exactly.
Plus, you want airtime, I suppose. Yeah.
Well, that's it. And I'd never really thought about it. Like, I wish, if I had my time again, I would. I don't know what I would do differently. I would just. I don't know, actually.
Would you be more pugnacious, more argumentative?
I suppose I was a bit kind of friendlier than maybe I should have been.
No, I think it's probably the wiser move to take, because people ask me if I regret anything about my time. Yeah. I don't regret anything, because that is how I was. That's how I am. I'm not going to censor myself just so to stay on longer. If I feel something, I'm going to say it. Yeah. But at the same time, if I was a bit more, if I just steered clear of the political debates more, then some say I may have gone on to win it. So I think
you were very short priced. I remember looking at the betting, and you were very, very short in the betting at one point. Yeah. And then you put out the next.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I started off like favourite to leave first, and then day by day it started.
Very much. Yeah. It changed.
But yeah, that's why it's a shame. And maybe I said in a post on X, actually, I said it's almost as though they're trying to castrate any future contestants from rocking the boat, going against the grain, because they've shown, you could say they've made an example of me. If you do speak out more conservatively, then they'll remove you. Yeah, I don't feel anything I said was warranted my removal, but there you go.
I think, just back to Late and Live as well. Yeah. I think the thing is that what people don't realise, that Late and Live shape the narrative. That the show that the main show for an hour, it's Late and Live that does the damage, I find, because they get this woke bunch of loonies on, and they get a few loonies on the actual panel itself.
And the hosts are very. They're never impartial. They're always on the side.
I think they must have some sort of EPs.
Possibly, but they're very biased in certain cases.
So you've no chance really. Like you're going on there. How I managed to get to the final, I'll never know. Emily got to the final actually as well. I think it is so difficult, and it shouldn't be, because we are a conservative country. I'll always say this. At heart we are a conservative country, and even if we're not, you said that in the polls over 400 seats projected for reform. Yeah. So I know it's not the exact same audience, but you can take that as a bit of a reflection. So it should be reasonably similar. But then they put on this woke nonsense that nobody's interested in. And they push their own agenda, and it's so disappointing, because you should give everyone a fair crack. What Big Brother was originally is people went on, they showed every side to them. Now they show the storylines they want to show, and it's a shame, really.
Yeah, I don't think either of us are going to Danny Beard's birthday party anytime soon.
Thank fuck for that.
I just want to touch on, don't have to spend long on this, but you're very passionate about the trans debate. I agree largely with what you say.
Do you think a woman can have a penis, George?
Of course not. Excellent. All right, what is a woman then, in your opinion?
What is a woman? A woman that is an adult human female, and a woman is someone who was born a woman. Yeah. Simple. It is so simple.
I'm with you on that. But I just find the whole debate, should we say, low-hanging fruit. I don't feel it's... I think there's greater issues that we should be engaging in order to shape the fate of this country. I don't think... that doesn't really fire me up, if you like. I did talk, obviously, in my series, there's a housemate called Zila, who's trans man, I think they call it. Nice, very nice person. Had some great conversations with Zila. But I did say, to me, a woman is an adult female with XX chromosomes. But if people want to do their own thing, as long as it doesn't interfere with other
but it always does,
people,
though,
well, this is it. Problem. You get, like in Scotland, what Nicola Sturgeon, this is the hill she died on.
Yes.
She lost her job because she let a man, biological man, into a woman's prison.
A rapist
who
as well.
Raped prisoners, I believe. So until, with cases like that, I don't think we should turn a blind eye. But if it's just people who are living and they're not interfering, then fair enough. But should a trans woman be able to go in a woman's toilet? No, I don't think so. You should go in the disabled toilet. Not because you're disabled, but just because it's your
I would agree, George.
No comment.
That's the truest bloody words you've spoken tonight. That's that. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
You should go in the bloody disabled. But I think the thing is, I get where you're coming at, and you're saying there's bigger issues. For me, it is a reflection on where we are, though, and it is symptomatic of a wider issue, in that this nonsense, this thing of what you said, and I totally agree. If you want to go and put a dress on and tell everyone that you're a woman, fine, but do it in your own home and to yourself. Don't expect me to believe it. If you just had to go out there, come back in and tell me you're now a woman, fine, you call yourself that, but I'm not buying into it because I don't believe you are. And that's the whole point. They are riddled with narcissism, this movement. And I know people will come at me and tell me that I can't diagnose. I'm not diagnosing, but they are riddled with narcissism. They want everyone to buy in. For this to work, people need to buy into their bullshit. And that's what people are doing because they're so scared. Well, more and more people aren't. And more people are standing out against it. It is a mental illness. And I will never, I will die on that hill. It is a mental illness. I was talking about this with a friend earlier today, actually, that on your series, and I don't know if I should, do you know what, I will name, right, to cut off your tits and then call yourself a man, that is mentally ill. And I know my wording is crass there, and I apologise for that, but it is. And then the problem I have with it is not so much that. If you want to do that and then sit in your own house, fine. But then if you want to go on national television and push that on a mainly young audience of young, impressionable minds, that is an okay and alright thing to do, to whether it be chop off your penis or chop off your tits or whatever else, that is not right. And that doesn't sit well with me, because I think you are indoctrinating these young people who are already probably warped enough with social media. Luckily, I grew up, you probably grew up as well, in an age without social media, and what a happy time to grow up compared to now. These people are so vulnerable, and I think that at some point in the future I'd love to have kids, and I think that, would I want my child exposed to that sort of nonsense? No, I would not. And
so if I chopped off my penis and got one of these designer vaginas,
Vajazzle. No, that's Howie, isn't it?
I'm from Essex, so I'll probably get
one of them as well.
Buy one, get one free. So if I got a fanny, if that's possible, I don't even know. So I'm still a man in your eyes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You'll always be.
My chromosomes are still that of a man. If in 100 years you found my skeleton, they took a bit of DNA from that, it would come up man.
Yeah.
Because that's what I was
You'll
born.
always be a man. And I think, as I say, it's symptomatic. I refuse to give in to this nonsense. And I don't know what it is with me. I just have something. People always hit me with that. Why are you bothered? Why do you care? Because there's something deep within me, and I will never be able to describe it, that I just cannot tolerate bullshit. And that is bullshit.
Amen. I think this is a very emotional row, and I think they say women operate off of emotions, whereas men operate more with logic, and that is also, you could argue, why they're trying to feminise men. Testosterone levels in men are they're nosediving as well. They're dropping year on year, generation on generation. Why is that? Maybe it's our diet, maybe it's our lifestyle, but the fact of the matter is, men are becoming less manly, and maybe that's because they want to control us easier.
I should probably sit like that now, shouldn't I?
So by making us more feminine, we're easier to control because you can tap into our emotions and we'll do as we're told. Oh, let them illegal immigrants in because they're fleeing war and persecution. No, logically, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And when we no longer operate as a society from any frame of rationality, then we can no longer... We break down as a society. And this is probably the most... This issue highlights it more than any other, how we are told to believe and say and feel that men can be women and vice versa, but actually, that's just not true.
It's just not. And
so if we're no longer operating from these parameters of fact, then where do we go from here? That's my stance.
That's it, and I agree. I think that's it. It's about sticking to fact and sticking to reality, because once you start drifting away from that, all sorts of shit happens. So no, I totally agree with you. And like the fact that they were even allowing, like, it's just crazy to think that with Nicola Sturgeon and what the SNP were proposing, I could have sent away on a Friday, signed a bit of paper, and by the Monday I could have been a woman and started competing in women's sports.
Yeah.
How, like, it's... And this
it's wrong.
This is the absolute
what if you went to become a boxer, and then, yes, you win gold medal, but you could...
Like, against a man, I ain't got no chance. Like,
it's not safe for the women you're competing against.
That's where the logic has completely gone out the window, because to any rational, normal human being, that is just not right. You just say, no, of course you can't do that. No, we put them in different categories. But then, now it's just, we've got to accept that actually that's how they feel. I don't care how they feel.
Oh, I'll meet you there. I vouch for that, yeah. And for the record, as I say, I did get on with Zila, and we lived passively. I didn't say I had a problem with it or anything, but those are my feelings. I don't think... I wouldn't want to compromise on... I'm not going to sit here and lie. I don't think that you can change your gender. Yeah. That's my stance. I'm happy to turn a blind eye as long as you're not impacting women's spaces, because actually the suffragettes...
They have to, because that's the game.
Yeah. Well, if you brought Emily Pankhurst, a suffragette, into the modern day, what would she feel about it? I think she'd be on J.K. Rowling's side.
I agree.
And that's because women all throughout history have fought tooth and nail for the same rights as men. Yep. I think they've now achieved it, so I think we can stamp out feminism altogether. Okay. I think the genders are equal. If anything, we live in a more matriarchal society today, but that's another conversation. It's another podcast in itself. We'll have to do this again. I think the true women all throughout history who really did fight and lose their life in many cases for women's rights, they wouldn't be on the side of transgenderism, whatever you want to call it.
Mentally ill people. Mentally ill, they're mentally ill, and alcohol and that. You talked about alcohol and that. And I think the thing is as well that it's so... I've got a really good friend, Connie Shaw, and she's a phenomenal, amazingly articulate on this subject, and she went to Leeds University, and she got booted out. Well, they tried to expel her. They tried to expel her because of her gender critical beliefs. Yeah. And that is where you've got a real problem, that you're in the education system, that they are indoctrinating these minds to believe this. Why? Why must they believe it? Why can't you criticise them? Why are you not allowed? There's something completely wrong.
Who's behind it? Who's pulling the strings?
No one knew. You'll probably say the Jews.
No, I'm joking. No, I'm open to anything.
Cut that bit.
No. I don't mind. Like, some people would argue that. I wouldn't. But
really? I thought that was so outlandish.
But some people say it's just the elite, the liberal elite. think it's what the public want.
Less children.
Yeah,
the only way that's another back to Islam. The only way we actually sort the problem we have also is we need to have kids.
Yeah,
we don't have enough kids in this country, so that links in as well to this whole queer argument that the queer.
Yeah, and the environmentalist debate. You know, why is King Charles saying that? Well, kids aren't very eco-friendly. That's the bottom line. They're not. But I could go on all day with you, Nathan. And I do genuinely want to do this again somehow. But I'm looking at the time. I think we're going to wrap it up there. Yeah. So let us know where we can follow you. What's your TikTok handles if you want to plug yourself?
Unfortunately, my TikTok is still Nathan King BB, which as in Big Brother. I don't know if I can change that at some point, but I might try to. I think my Instagram is Nathan.King.
Cool.
I think.
Well, yeah, it's Nathan King. I'm sure it'll come up.
Yeah,
thank you very much for coming on. You're my first guest, so sorry if I was a bit rocky as an interviewer, but I just wanted to chit chat.
Yeah,
and we are very similar, but as we showed, there's certain things we don't agree on. So it's lovely to have a conversation. I think freedom of speech is so important now. Whether we hated each other or got on like a house on fire, I want to talk to people, and you're intellectual enough to hold a conversation about these deep subjects. Hats off to you for that. We need more Gen Z in these political discussions.
I think so, and I think I will say as well that on the right side of politics, we are better at this. We are better at actually, do you know what, we disagree on that, but we'll talk about it. Whereas on the left, and I know I'm off again, but on the left, if you don't agree on every single issue, you're out. They'll cast you aside.
Certainly, yeah. And it's those people that preach about tolerance and inclusivity.
Yes.
So the bollocks, mate. But yeah, keep fighting the good fight. Well, by good fight, I don't mean the Conservatives. But I turn a blind eye there. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.